Okay, so this is just explaining how to use the Carbonian formula, guys, to figure out what heart rate you want to work at for certain benefits of activity. Okay, so you can see for step 1, we've got 220 minus your age, and this will give you your perceived maximum heart rate. Now, as we said last week, your perceived maximum heart rate is just an estimate of how high what your heart rate can get up to. Okay, so I'm going to do this for my own age because it would be great for you guys to be able to apply it yourself rather than me do it every step before you. But we've got 220 minus your age. So my age is 25. So 220 minus 25 is 195. Now that is my perceived maximum heart rate. Oh, and we've got a typo up here. Fabulous. Guys, if you want to fill in perceived maximum heart rate over here in your glossaries, it is just your estimated maximum heart rate. Okay, so we know that my perceived maximum heart rate is 195. So when we go down to step number 2, that makes it a little bit easier for us because we know that my perceived maximum heart rate is 195. Okay, obviously you type in whatever yours is there. Now my resting heart rate, to find that out, all I need to do is count my pulse for 10 seconds and then times it by 6. So I've already done that, and for 10 seconds my heart rate was 12, so now I need to times that by 6 and I would get 72. Okay, so 195 minus 72, so my perceived maximum heart rate minus my resting heart rate is what we call HRR. Now your HRR is your heart rate reserve, which is just here. Okay, so 195 minus 72, if I put that in my calculator, I would get 123, which is my HRR, which stands for your heart rate reserve. It's really hard to type with one hand. Okay, now this is where we get up to the important part, which is what we want to find out. Now you've got your heart rate reserve times the desire you want to work at, e.g. 60%. When we go down here, guys, last week we figured out that for aerobic training, so that's things that are long distance running, like long distance running or cycling or swimming, something like that you do for a long period of time, you want to work between 60 to 75% of your heart rate. Okay, so you're not working at 100%, but you're working at 60 to 75%. For anaerobic training, which is short bursts, so things like lifting weights or jumping or sprinting, you're working at 75 to 90%. And then your lactate tolerance, you're working at 90+%. Okay, so say for example, we want to find out what my aerobic threshold is. Okay, so we want to figure out this bit right here. What you're going to do for this bit is go your heart rate reserve, which I know mine is 123 because I've just worked it out. So 123 times by the desire you want to work at. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to do aerobic because that's the first one we've got here. Okay, I'm going to do the minimum one. So we've got 60%. So I'm not going to do 60, I'm going to put 0.60 in there. And what I would get if I times 123 times 0.6, I would get 73.8. 73.8, if you can see that there. Guys, I'm just going to round it up to 74 because you can't really measure your heart rate in points, so in decimals, so I'm going to just put 74. Okay, you'll see here that there's an extra thing here. Now we've got our RHR. If we look back up here, our RHR is our resting heart rate. Resting heart rate is RHR. So you guys can add that into your glossary as well. We remember that my resting heart rate is 72, okay, because it's right there. So my resting heart rate, so I need a plus 74 plus my resting heart rate, which is 72. Now this equals, if I plus 74 plus 72, I will get my resting heart rate. Okay, so I will get you won't get your resting heart rate, you'll get your target heart rate. So your target heart rate, if you're working at 60%, which is aerobic training, for me is 144. Okay, so my target heart rate for aerobic training is 144. what you need to do down here is take that away and write 144. Okay, so you've done your first one. What I'm going to do now is go back and delete all of this. You know what? I can keep this because that is my age. My age is never going to change in the next year. My resting heart rate isn't going to change. All I need to change up here, get rid of that because it's going to be different, and get rid of this. Okay, so my heart rate reserve is always going to be 123. What I want to find out now is my anaerobic heart rate. Okay, so what do I need to be working at to be working anaerobically? Well, I'm just going to use 75% because that's the minimum one. You can use anything in between 75 and 90. Okay, so I've got 123 times 75%. Now remember, I don't want to just put 75 because you need to convert it to decimals. So 75% in decimals is 0.75. Okay, so I'm going to times 123 times 0.75 and I will get 92.25. Now I'm going to round that down just to 92 because, as I said, you can't really count your heart rate in decimals, so it's going to be 92. Okay, I'm not finished yet because you can see here there's an extra thing, so I've got 92 plus my RHR. Remember, my RHR, where is it? My RHR is 72 because that is my resting heart rate. So I'm going to plus 92 plus 72. Okay, so I've got 92 plus 72. This is going to be my target heart rate for anaerobic training. So 92 plus 72 is 164, and this is my target, really hard to type with one hand, target heart rate. Okay, so my target heart rate for anaerobic training is 164. All I need to do now is go down here and write 164. Okay, we've got one more to do, guys, and that's our lactate tolerance. So let me get rid of this lot because this will change, but steps 1 and 2 will not change, as we said before. Okay, so our lactate tolerance, we want to be working at 90% or more. So I'm just going to do 90% because that's the minimum, and I'm just going to stick with the minimum. 90%, we want our heart rate to be at 90%. So this is pretty full-on stuff, high intensity workouts. So you've got 123, which is my heart rate reserve, times the desire you want to work at. So for our lactate tolerance, we want to work at 90%. Okay, so we've got 123 times 90%. Or you can't do times 90%, so you're going to convert that to decimals, so it'll be 0.90, which is 110.7. I'm going to round it up because, as I said before, you can't count your heart rate in decimals, so it'll be 111, which is quite high. I haven't finished yet because you can see here there's another space. I need to add my resting heart rate. My resting heart rate is 72. It will be different for you, be different for everyone. And when I add 111 plus 72, I will get my target heart rate for lactate tolerance. Okay, so I've got 111 plus 72, which will be 183, which is my target heart rate. What I need to do now is go down here and change that 183, and then I am done. Guys, this one down here is probably the easiest thing you've got for this assessment. It's your maximum heart rate. You know from up here that your maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age. So 220 minus your age is 100, for me, is 195. Okay, for most of you it'll probably be about 205. Okay, so in terms of what do I leave up here, I'm happy for you to leave one aerobic, anaerobic or lactate tolerance. It doesn't worry me which one you leave. You don't have to do all three because just doing one shows me that you know how to do it. But can you please just write up here under the Calvanian formula to write aerobic or whatever you choose to do, okay? So for this one I would write lactate tolerance. Okay, just before I close off, guys, sorry to take up so much time. If you're not sure, of course you can come and ask me, but you can also go to this website that I've put in your thing here. Okay, so we've got the cover. You can use this site to check your answers. Okay, so copy and paste that site. I'll put this on Edmodo. Sorry, it cut me off, but I'll keep going on anyway. Copy and paste that site into your browser or whatever you use, and then you'll have a site like this. So for my age, I've entered 25, and then I've entered my resting heart rate, which is 72. To calculate, you just say calculate, and it does it for you. Okay, so it tells me that my estimated maximum heart rate, which we called our perceived maximum heart rate, is 195. Don't worry about this lot, guys, it's all old stuff. Go down to here, and it tells me that if I'm working at 75%, my target heart rate is going to be 164. Let's check if we're right. Anaerobic, 75%. 164, excellent. If I scroll over, guys, and I have a look at 60%, now sometimes it can be inaccurate because if you round up and round down, but as long as it's within a few of each other, I've got 60%, and my target heart rate for this one is 146. Am I right? It's 144, so I've done something wrong, either rounded up or rounded down incorrectly, but that's okay as long as it's close. And my last one you can see is 90%, so I want the answer to be around 183. Let me just find it. 183 is excellent. Okay, so you can just do that to check rather than come to me and say I don't know how to do it. Check if you're doing it right up here, and then come to me if you still haven't got it right. Okay, make sure you let me know if you need any help because it's quite a long process. Okay, thank you guys.